Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Wednesday morning. It is the 13th day of March, 2024. This is the morning briefing coming to you from my home weather office, where I look at whatever's going on and get myself my own morning briefing, and then I show you what I'm looking at before later on in the day. I head to the studio and do it all on TV. As I look out the window of the home weather office, I get some high clouds streaming by out there, but otherwise today is going to be relatively quiet. It'll be dry. We'll see sun and clouds, so not a perfectly blue sky. And later in the day, we'll start to see some breezes, but it's really going to be the wind in the Sierra that is likely going to be the biggest issue with the wind over the next couple of days. For the lower elevations, it's just going to be an annoying breeze. But a lot going on here in the west because of the same weather system that's going to give us some of that wind. So let me show you what's happening here. Here are the high clouds that are streaming down across California. These are high, thin clouds, nothing in the way of precipitation here. So you have this north flow here. Now notice the clouds here over Utah. Notice how they're going this way. So you have a big low right in here. And so you got the circulation around the low goes like this. And on the east side of this, we are going to be seeing a pretty big snowstorm into Colorado, and especially into the mountains, but even into areas like Denver. So let's talk about that for a second here. So I'm going to show you the NAM. And the reason this is important is that A, some of you may have interest in an area like Denver, and B, Denver is an important hub for Southwest and other airlines for flights flying east from Northern California. So this is this afternoon. Flights this afternoon should be okay, but once we get into tonight and into the day tomorrow, the snow starts, and this is tomorrow afternoon. And what's going to be interesting here, because the low is off to the south here, the flow is from the east. So this is the classic situation where the Rockies get a lot of snow. So what we get here is upslope flow. Consider the Rockies are running this direction, and the flow coming from the east will help to give you more orographic lift on the front range of the Rockies. So this is Thursday afternoon, Thursday night into Friday. Another little surge goes by on Friday morning, and then it tapers off as we get into the day on Saturday. But if you look at the total snow accumulation into the mountains, if I scroll over that, you can see 4 feet of snow. Down in Denver, it may be something in the range of 8 to 12 inches of snow, but traffic heading to the west out of Denver will be very difficult. We'll be hearing about this on the national news. And then Denver itself, with the busy airport, they may have some flight delays and flight diversions and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to give you an idea on that, because that is the same weather system that we're going to be dealing with. So let me show you that in our area. So as we go through the day today, you can see that precipitation off to the east. But for us, we just start developing a little bit of a north gradient. It'll turn breezy in the afternoon, no big deal. But let's watch, I showed you this yesterday, let's watch that pressure gradient develop in the Sierra. And as we go through the night tonight, this is around midnight tonight. Look at how closely packed these isobars are. We have high pressure here, we have low pressure to the south, and that means you have a strong pressure gradient here. It'll be breezy in the valley, but especially on the west side of the valley, there you'll see gusts over 30, 35, but not enough to cause any damage or power outages, that sort of thing. But boy, it is that tight pressure gradient along the crest of the Sierra that'll probably cause some lift delays or even some resort closures, at least for the crest of the Sierra on Thursday. Notice how that gradient stays tight during the day Thursday. So the lifts that go to the top of Kirkwood and Heavenly, and Alpine, they may have to close those because of the strong winds. And then during the day, this is Thursday afternoon, you also notice there's a little bit of snow. We may see some snow on the 395 corridor, but we have our own easterly flow as well, just like I was talking about with Denver. So here on the front range of the southern Sierra, areas south of Highway 4, we will be seeing some snow. But it will just be confined to areas, let's say like Mammoth, as well as maybe up on Tioga Pass in Yosemite. And then that gradient stays a little bit tight on Thursday night in the Sierra. And then for the valley, the gradient starts to ease during the day on Friday. This is Friday morning. So on both Thursday and Friday, there could be some issues with lift closures in the high Sierra. So let me talk more about that wind with the HRRR. And this is a, let me just change the run here. Switch back to the 12Z run from the 15Z run. That'll get us out longer in time. All right, so as we go through the day today, this is this afternoon, and we start seeing winds gusting up to around 20, 25 in the valley. Yeah, it's just kind of that annoying north breeze. Nothing too howling here. This is getting into tonight, and just watch what happens along the crest of the Sierra. This is overnight. This is about 3 o'clock in the morning. Then we start having those winds probably up on the ridge tops gusting around 100 miles an hour in a very localized area. And by that, I mean the ridge tops, up around 8,000 feet. Down at lake level, it'll be breezy. It'll be kind of windy down at lake level. But when we're talking about these high winds, don't confuse what might happen at lake level to what's going to happen up on the top of the mountains. And that's what we're talking about, really is the tops of the mountains. And so that stays, this is Thursday morning. And you notice that in the lower elevations, we have that offshore wind, that classic pattern here. This is Thursday morning. That gives us some high winds in the mountains of Napa County and Lake County. But again, and it's for the higher elevations especially, it's breezy down in the valley. And then that wind in the Sierra eases a little bit, but then it will come back on Friday right there. Not as widespread, but if I go through that again, you'll just see how the wind just flares on the overnight going into Thursday morning, and then again maybe on Friday. So for those of you that like to ski, Thursday, Friday, there may be some limits on the lift operations at some of the resorts. So just kind of pay attention to that. For the lower elevations, yeah, it's just that annoying north wind. Some people who are, when I talk about this wind, people are, oh, geez, so PG&E's ready and power outages and that sort of thing. I don't think we're looking at that sort of wind. It's kind of an annoying, allergy-inducing wind. And the north wind is just kind of more of an irritant than anything else. And when we get this kind of pattern in the let's say in September, we would be concerned more about fire danger, but that fire danger really isn't a concern this time around. Everything's just still too wet. So that's everything I've got for you this morning. It is going to be a dry day, and it's been dry for a while. So get out and enjoy it. I hope the wind doesn't bother you too much over the next couple of days. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.